everyone, welcome to a new sound space. So this is my magical teepee here in glorious Cornwall. We are really fortunate to be based at Cudvar, which is a fantastic venue and location, really near Tintagel here on the Atlantic coast. It is so magical, and I'm really fortunate and lucky to have been able to bring my sound space here for the summer, and in fact all the way to the end of October. As those of you who will be used to seeing my little spare room at Fistral Beach will know, it was getting quite compressed. I didn't have enough room for more gongs, so now at least I can get one more in here, which is great. And it just means I've got a bit more space to get out in nature, to bring sounds, to bring the kind of magic of sound therapy and the power of meditation into nature where it belongs. That said, we have got a lot of nature here. I'm recording this for you a couple of hours before it's going to go out, and the rain is apocalyptic to say the least. This is my first attempt at recording here, so please bear with me. If the sound's a little kooky, if you hear a lot of rain noises, imagine you're here. That's kind of the idea. You can pretty much imagine you're present in this space, so hopefully that will really be supportive anyway. So my name's Jane. If I haven't met you before, thank you so much for being here. My sound business is called Silence and Noise. Please follow on Instagram and on YouTube. Those are the places where I tend to put most of my content out. Some of you will know I have been a little quiet on content the last few weeks. Things, as lockdown kind of reached its crescendo and then kind of collapsed, just got really busy for me personally, and the energy was really quite intense. And what I felt that it was really the best thing to do was to honour how I was feeling and to not try and share stuff out there when I felt really unable to do so in a really authentic way. There's the rain. So you're imagining you're in the teepee with me right now. Fingers crossed it doesn't get the laptop. So the way these soundscapes normally work is that we talk for a little bit about ritual. We talk about the stuff I'm bringing into my ritual to mark this moon, the new moon in Leo, which is going to be at 3:42 this morning. So this is actually a perfect evening. We are doing an in-person soundscape tomorrow night, the 19th, but the moon is actually kind of slightly closer to tonight, the 18th, so you guys have got in first. So we're going to talk a little bit about ritual, about tarot, about crystals, about some of the stuff I'm using to really navigate this particular season. And then we're going to get into some amazing sounds. We're going to hear the bowls, we're going to hear the gongs, and we're going to hear some harmonium, I think, today. And we're going to spend some time together with the amazing release that these sounds give us, and also with some of the kind of meditative journeying tools that we can achieve when we're in the sound space. I'm sure most of you already know the basic physics of how sound works, but for anyone who doesn't, these things all vibrate at a really high vibration. Our bodies, more dense physical matter, vibrates super low. So when the high vibration meets the low vibration is brought into harmony with the high. So all of this stuff is designed to have us really tuning in and harmonising with nature, with the cosmos, with the universe, with the earth, with the ground beneath our feet. So hopefully what you will all experience is that as we move through the sound session, you will find yourselves harmonising with your environment, with your surroundings, and I mean the nature environment, not the dogs and the cats and the kids and the dinner and all that stuff. And you will find yourself feeling, as a result, increasingly peaceful, relaxed, meditative, and maybe even a little bit out of body. So the rain is definitely not going to be our friend today. It may be that you might see the lighting here change a little bit during this session, because at the moment I've got gorgeous rainy lights pouring through, which is amazing. But if it gets really bad, I might have to close the TP off, which will make this a little bit dark. But hopefully for most of it, you're going to be listening rather than watching. So with that in mind, we'll crack on with the watching stuff so that we can do that while we still have some light. And I'm going to begin by clambering over here to share with you my little ritual grid, which hopefully you'll be able to see in part. I'm going to post some pictures that will go alongside this in the chat, and I can talk to you more about it live online. So if you're watching this now and you have questions, please shout and I will be there to answer. So my little grid is surrounded, you may not be able to see on the camera too clearly, but it's surrounded by rose petals. The reason for doing this is that we're working in high summer energy, and we're working with lots of flower energy, lots of plant energy, everything's in full bloom, and I really like to keep petals from occasions that mean a lot to me. So if I get given flowers on to mark a special occasion, or for anything else, I just really like to keep them and to really think about the energy that those flowers have been in and around in my home or wherever they've been, and to bring that energy into the ritual space. So these blooms are not that old actually, but they're from a really important, positive, uplifting day and time. And that's the energy we're really working with during Leo season. It's a really positive, optimistic vibe. Leo is the kind of the lion, he's the king, he's the confidence booster, the energy is brave, it's active, it's motivating, it's all about doing and leading, taking responsibility for yourself and your actions and really making some progress out there in the world. So we have lots and lots of kind of optimistic, positive leadership energy here. For anyone who does have a lot of fire in their chart and a lot of Leo in their chart, you're going to want to think about dialing some of that down a little bit so it's not too all-encompassing. And we will come to how to do that as we move through the ritual. But for now, rose petals around the grid is a really nice way to amplify this kind of high summer vibe. For anyone who's interested in the oils I like to use, my blend this month is a mixture of that kind of heat and summer. So we have got some damask rose, we've got some ginger, there's a little pinch of chili in there, and then some lemon and grapefruit, really uplifting, energizing, zingy scents to really kind of add some summer power into the process, into our ritual. What I've worked with this month is a rollerball, just because it's quite nice when you're using an uplifting blend to have it to hand for your chakras and your pulse points. So I like to take mine across my temples, across my wrists and down the collar, down the throat chakra. And sometimes I work with a spritz of these around the gong space as well, but today I'm actually going to spritz some other rose. This is High Vibes Mist, and this is rose, palo santo, frankincense and quartz. And this is just because we've had some really amazing sessions in this teepee this morning actually, and in the last few days, and I really want to kind of keep some of that wonderful feminine energy in here to share with all of you. So, rose petals, we're working with Metatron's Cube, which is a kind of a protective and amplifying and cleansing sacred geometry grid. And again, the close-up images will be in the chat for you to have a look at. The crystal that we're leading with is smoky quartz, and hopefully you can see this lovely smoky quartz point. So smoky is a really grounding crystal. It's really used specifically for the root chakra and for the earth star, which is the one that's off the sole of your feet. This is a really beautiful crystal for taking your energy downwards, for rooting, for finding stability and kind of safety and security. So lots of themes that are coming over from the Cancerian vibe that we've been in for quite some time now. But it's also really about working more mentally, working with your mental acumen as well. We've got some Tiger's Eye here at the peak of the grid, which is the kind of the quintessential Leo stone. Tiger, Leo, big cat. And this is really all about confidence, courage, bravery and speaking up. So a lot of Leo energy, a lot of fire energy right now is all about this sort of finding your voice. And a lot of that is not about finding your voice from up here, from the place we'd normally expect to find it in the throat chakra, but finding your voice from your gut, from your core, from your real kind of internal components. So the chakra most associated with Leo is the solar plexus, the sun chakra, and it's your chakra of action and movement, progress, decision making. So these are all things that Tiger's Eye can really support. In terms of the other big Leo stones we're working with, we have Carnelian. Classic Carnelian is the orangey red stone, really beautiful, and it's a real heat stone, it's a real energizer. It's very much about working with that core energy, that solar plexus energy, to really amplify it, to get things moving. It's a great stone to work with if you're feeling a bit sluggish and a bit stuck in a rut, as lots of us are. And one of the things we'll talk about with the context in a minute is that we've all been quite stuck in static energy and in quite continuous energy for some time now. In fact, the last fire moon we had was all the way back at the astrological new year. It was March 23rd and it was the Aries moon. So it's actually been the full length of lockdown, because I remember clearly that was my very first online soundscape. It's actually been a full 6 months basically since we last had that fire moon. The other stone we're working with here is sunstone, which is a kind of a lovely peachy orangey vibe. That's what it says on the tin. Harnesses the power of the sun, as lots of the stuff here today does. And this stone is a really, really supportive stone in terms of positivity, in terms of harnessing a positive outlook, getting rid of the stuff that isn't serving you, and really finding a way to focus on the good side of life. Very vitalizing stone. As is citrine, another classic. I think the light might be almost too bright for you to see these, so hopefully you'll check the photos out. But they're like, citrine is the stone of abundance, and one of the things I've been talking to a lot of clients about this week is about this concept of reframing abundance, that abundance isn't necessarily material or physical, it's not necessarily about the having of stuff. Abundance can really be about how you frame abundance emotionally, mentally, abundant in terms of time or lifestyle or personal energy or personal harmony with yourself, with nature, with the spaces around you. So citrine is a wonderful stone to work with when you're thinking about abundance. It's one that people like to use for business, to have on their desk at work. But it is also a really good invitation and starting point for thinking about what abundance really is to you. Two others that are here on this grid, we have Fool's Gold, Iron Pyrite, which is another classic kind of Leo stone. It's traditionally called firestone by the ancient Greeks, and it harnesses, again, the power of the fire, of the magma, the earth's core in this case. And it's a really nice stone, again, for confidence, for positivity, for leadership. It's a stone people use a lot when they go into management positions, for example, or when you're kind of leading a class or workshop, if you need something to help you feel confident in your sharing and your giving of energy. And finally, a bit of a curveball. I put some aquamarine on this grid today. And that's because we have got quite a lot of heat in this grid. And then we've got our grounding smoky quartz at the centre of it all. And our point, of course, in the centre of the grid is from where we draw the energy up. We've also got, Carnelian, Citrine, Sunstone, Fool's Gold, Tiger's Eye. There's lots of fire, which I feel like we really need right now. But we do want to temper a little bit of that fire with just a little bit of air. So aquamarine is like a little cool breeze. And we are at the tail end of the Aquarius full moon, and aquamarine is a wonderful Aquarius stone. Really good for sensitivity, for feeling a little bit kind of inward and introspective. It's a moonstone, so with all of the big solar vibes we've got going on this week, it's really nice to have a little bit of lunar energy in there. And it's almost like a little kind of like a cool air, cool breeze after the fire of the day. When you come off the beach and you're really warm, and that kind of early evening breeze just takes the edge off a little bit. So we'll see aquamarine a little bit like that in our grid today. So this is the grid I'm working with, which is really based on how I'm feeling about this moon, which is really exciting and positive. But it's also very much because I don't have a whole bunch of fire in my chart, and the energy I've been working with lately has been very watery. I'm a water sun, and I got very stuck in the Cancerian energy with this long double Cancer new moon we've had. Everything's felt very fluid, very transformative, very, very emotional. And I feel like that has been kind of prevailing overall. My sort of pulse taking energetically has suggested that a lot of us have been leaning more on that side than not. One of the things I'm feeling really good about coming into this season is we've already had Lammas 2 weeks ago, which is the first harvest of the season. It's traditionally the grain or the barley harvest on August the 1st. And we've also had the sun moving into Leo quite some time ago now. So we've been building up this fire energy, and this moon this week, the new moon in Leo, is really about kind of taking the Lionsgate energy of last weekend and then turning it into something we're really going to take action from. So I was talking to someone this morning about, Leo energy is about leadership, confidence, bravery, kind of solar plexus vibes, core strength, gut instinct, all this juicy goodness that's in here. But that doesn't mean you have to immediately rush out and start doing stuff. We've all been quite sloth-like and quite still for quite a while. And rushing out too fast, coming in too fiery might be a bit too much for a lot of us. It might be a lot for us anyway, but especially right now. So it's really quite nice, and that's why I've included some cooling aquamarine here. It's really quite nice to take the time to take some seed over this Leo moon, to use this fiery energy, to use this opportunity to grow, to make something new, to take action, to take affirmative action towards our goals and visions. But knowing that that action can be making a list, having an idea, writing something down, coming up with a vision for next year, for the year after, for maybe in 6 weeks' time. It doesn't have to be go out and do it this week. Maybe for some people it is. And if you're particularly fiery, you might find that you've got all the fire you need to make it happen right now. But for lots of us, and I think the general prevailing view among kind of intuitives and energetics right now, is that a lot of activity is due in early 2021. And really a lot of what's happening right now, and this fire energy that we're coming into or moving through in Leo season, is really all about getting our ducks lined up, getting all of our seeds planted, all of the stuff that we're going to be taking action on as we move into the age of Aquarius next year, next early spring or late winter, and really having everything in place for that time. So I've been running 1 billion miles an hour at so many goals and targets and visions in the last weeks and months. I mean, this beautiful Tipi space is a big one that for me has been taking all of my attention and all of my Sagittarian fire forward. But actually it's really nice to now sit back, to enjoy what we have, to enjoy who we are, to enjoy our sun side, our yang side, our lion, our Leo, to really enjoy our personality, our confidence, and the person we've chosen to become, and to decide what we want to do moving forward to amplify that energy. So one thing that I'm writing out in my newsletter that many of you will have received today, one thing I'm really interested in right now is visions and vision lists, working with the idea of not writing affirmations or mantras or resolutions or intentions, but really thinking about your visions. What do you want to happen? Who do you want to be? How do you want to feel is really important. It's quite easy to do this stuff when you start with, what do I want to do? I want to build a house in Ibiza. I want that amazing job. I want to buy this amazing camper van or car. But if you can start to turn that around and think, how do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning? How do I want my relationship to make me feel? How do I want to feel when I share what I love, when I work? And really start thinking around those visions. And this is a perfect time on this new moon to plant those fiery manifesting seeds around your visions, so that when we come around to the full moon in Leo early next year, around the time we move into Age of Aquarius, this will be the perfect time for that fire to come to fruition. So I'll invite you all, if you are working with your grid, to take a moment to get your grid set up. Lots of the other stuff I'm working with is always I cleanse with white sage, and I have been cleansing the Tipi before you guys arrived. The rain has certainly been doing a good job of cleansing it for me as well. I'm just going to run the sage around again because it's always nice to work with the space together. So I really like to use white sage with my crystals. You can also cleanse them in salt water, in the light of the full moon. I do tend to do that as well. And I usually like to pick them up and hold them, like with this Carnelian, and just hold the crystal through the swirling smoke and really cleanse it mentally as well. Really share with it my vision for this session, my vision for this ritual, for this moon. As many of you know, my recommended way of working with rituals is to create a grid or an altar, or both, grid on an altar, around the time of the new or full moon, and then to really commit to it, to work with it over the course of that 2-week period, and to then adjust it to see how it served you, to learn, to harvest, and then to move forward with a new updated grid and a new updated altar as you move into the next season. So for example, one of the things I'm doing today is I'm working with Aquamarine, which is a hangover. I've kept hold of it from the Aquarius full moon, but that full moon energy was lots about ideology and visions, visions for the future. I use Citrine in that one as well, and I'm now just kind of amping it up and adding a bit more fire to that grid. And as we come into the following moon, which will be the full moon in Pisces, we're going to have to wash a lot of this fire out and really add some cleansing, more watery stones, and you'll see a lot more of things like lapis and eventually coming in for that one. I'm also, for those of you who are interested, working with Pyrite fueled stones, and I've also got a really beautiful candle here. I think it's just out of shot, which I've anointed already with my oils. So I really like to work with them, interacting and interlacing all the different aspects of the ritual back and forth. So oils on the candles, crystals in the candles, sage on me, on the gongs, on the stones. And what we'll be doing as we move now gently into our session is just to take a couple of moments to set our intentions. So these soundscapes, these rituals are really about what we bring, and what we're looking to manifest, what we're looking to harvest, what we're looking to release. And many of you will know that I've been really into harvesting over releasing lately. Traditionally we manifest on a new moon, we release on a full moon. But I've actually been finding, particularly as we've moved through this fire season in the summer, it's much more useful to think about harvesting what we need rather than letting go of what we don't. And by harvesting, we automatically add a kind of an open release to that which no longer serves us. So have a think. Might serve you to write it down. As I said, I'm big into vision lists at the moment, big into writing this stuff down and really connecting with how, with your words, creating mantras from your words, creating affirmations from your words. If you're struggling for a mantra or an affirmation, something that chimes quite nicely with the Leo energy might be I'm affirming my confidence in my true self, or I'm affirming my belief in my own solar power, I'm living my most empowered life, I'm sharing empowerment with others, something around power, around strength, around fire, around motivation and action. I've been working a lot with adding sun's power to my visions and goals. This is a really supportive way of moving yourself forward, of seeding your progress, or actually actively progressing. So have a little think around, a little look around your conscious mind, see what's resonating for you. And it's a really nice time to get your final moments of grid in place and to have a little think about that intention, get it written down. And if you are working as we are with fire seeds, and it's nearly always one of the most constructive things to do at the end of your ritual, which I won't be doing in here just because of the nature of the space and my limited time today, is burning your list. So really focusing on it, really giving it heat, giving it fire, giving it intention and belief. And then when we're done with our ritual, we're done with our meditation today, you can literally let it all burn up, send it out into the ether, let it go back to ground, ashes to ashes, and feel at one with what you've created, with the seeds you've planted. So I will give you a moment to get your intentions in place, to take a few notes if that's what you're going to be doing today, and then we're going to move into our first phase of sounds together. Alright guys, as we move into the sound, we will begin our guided meditation with the beautiful crystal bowls. And as you can see, one of the benefits of the gorgeous teepee is I have a few more bowls to share with you today. So I continue to love working with my C, G and A bowls. We've also got a C sharp and a D added to the mix. So we'll be working with all of these today. And today's meditation is really a meditation around the chakra system. It's about focusing our awareness on our elemental makeup and really focusing in on that solar plexus and the fire chakra. So you may like to stay seated for this. I personally quite like to be seated for a bowl meditation, maybe working with some crystals from the grid. If you have a crystal that particularly speaks to you, you might want to take it in the palm of your hand or one in each. Candle gazing is a really nice addition to this meditation, working with fire. So if you happen to be fortunate enough to have an open fire or a wood burner, or just a candle that you can look straight into the flame, right into the pale colourless core, that also can be a really beautiful way of enhancing your meditation. So we are going to be finding our seat, finding a comfortable position in which to experience the sounds today. Again, knowing that all sounds are welcome, even if sounds feel as though they're not supposed to be in this space. If you hear thunder or rain or dripping or other noises, remember we're working with nature. One of the great things about being in this space is that we're working with nature. All sounds are here to serve us in some way, to help us unlock our own experience. So take your awareness now down to your root chakra. The colour is red, shape is a square. This is your earth chakra, your seat of security, stability, your root. Your home is often associated with family and ancestors. So if this resonates with you in terms of your mantra, if you're looking to work into these areas, then this is the area that's beautiful to focus on for your meditation today. We're also going to take our awareness all the way down off the soles of the feet into the earth star chakra. This is one of the secondary chakras. It may not be one you're familiar with. About our connection, not just to earth in terms of grounding, but to Gaia in terms of Mother Earth, in terms of the core, the mantle, the fire of earth. And it's really nice to imagine your feet sinking below, like if you're really wet sand or really wet soil, your feet sinking almost ankle deep, and you can really root your feet down and really connect to the ground, not just to standing on the ground, but being in the ground, being at one with it. solar plexus. Just above and behind the navel, this is your fire chakra. Personal sun, your seat of confidence, of courage, of bravery, of action, of motivation. This is where we find the Leo energy, the solar energy that we're currently in. It's where we find our gut instinct, the part of us, that kind of animalistic part that just knows, that smells success or failure or good vibes or not so good vibes. This is a really good spot in which to focus your meditation today. If you have no particular preference, then I really suggest the solar plexus for you. Let's move our awareness on up to the heart. And the heart here is the fourth chakra. Not in your anatomical heart, but the heart center, which is your sternum, the center of the breastbone. Colour here to be green or pink. The shape is a 6-petaled lotus, so you can imagine a Star of David with the triangles turned into petals. This is your seat of harmony, of happiness, of love, and of compassion. This is the place where you meet others emotionally, your deepest feelings. Blocked or closed heart center is a surefire way to a very tricky meditation, so this is also a great place to focus your awareness. Bring your conscious mind up to the throat chakra. The color here is blue. The shape is a triangle. This is Vishuddha, your throat chakra, ruled by the element metal, by Mercury. And this is your seat of self-expression, your voice, the part of you that communicates. If you struggle to be heard, if you feel like your voice is not always as clear as you would like it to be, if maybe you get misunderstood easily, if you're feeling like you're just not getting your message across at the moment, then here is a great place to focus. And this does also work really well with the solar plexus in terms of leadership and that Leo strength and vibe. Let's bring the awareness up to the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. The colour is purple. The shape is a triangle with an eye open at its centre. And here we find the seat of intuition, the space where we just know, the part of us that knows we're not the body or the mind, and is just seeking to find what else we might be. The searcher, the seeker in all of us, the part that's looking for the soul, looking beyond the tangible. Finally, let's bring the awareness up to Sahasrara, the 7th chakra. Just off the crown of the head, the shape is a 1,000-petaled lotus. There's no colour here, it's just white or clear. Whatever you perceive light to be, feel that light surround you, envelop you, hold you. And then very gently allow that clear, beautiful, universal light to surround your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus burning like the sun, the with your body, finding yourself back in your physical body once again. If you drifted off, if you, as many of us do, find that the bowls really elevate you and get you out of your conscious mind, then it's always really great to have a journal to hand for these sessions. Make a couple of notes, write something down. How do you feel? What are you aware of? Maybe something's really just popped into your mind, maybe a thought, an idea, an awareness, a solution. Just take a moment to connect with how the sounds give you a journey, what that means. And before we move into the main gong bath aspect of today's session, we're just going to have a little moment of looking at the tarot. So I'm working with 2 cards here today, and I'm working with my favourite deck, which is the Wild Unknown by Kim Krantz. So the traditional card, the traditional tarot pull for Leo is either the Sun or Strength. It does depend on who you read, and I've worked with both today. I really like the kind of the duality or the binary nature that we can talk about from these cards. So the Strength, you can probably see, does feature a lion. And he's got the infinity symbol on his head, and he's holding a rose in his teeth. And you know, every deck is different, every deck has its own interpretation, but I really love the illustrations and the way Kim works with them here. I think for me the Strength card is about the idea that strength doesn't have to be force, and this is really important when we're thinking about our fire center, our solar plexus, fire energy. We don't have to always be super powered and super strong. Actually, strength can be in quietness and stillness and pause and release. And the lion, who so often, you know, when he's active and he's fiery and he's out there hunting, can be huge. His energy and his presence is phenomenal. Can also be just as powerful and just as strong while seated silently, gazing. If any of you are cat owners like I am, you'll appreciate the silent power of the feline. And that's really what the Strength card is all about. Strength can be inspired by the sun. It comes from our solar plexus, from our gut, and it comes from that content, that area of doing, of taking action, of affirmative action, of progress and forward progress. But that doesn't mean you have to do it all right now, and it doesn't mean that that's the only way to amplify these energies. We work with crystals, we work with different types of energy, different types of energy medicine, different types of sound and ritual and Wicca and shamanic work, all to show that there's different ways and different portals into the current vibration. So if you feel like actually you're feeling pretty fiery, you don't really need loads of that fire energy right now, then Strength for you and the Leo energy for you might look like a bit more stillness, like quiet strength, reflection, planting those seeds for the future. The other card that we normally talk about when we talk about Leo is the Sun, which is nearly always one of the most beautiful cards in any deck, and I particularly love this one with the, I think they're supposed to be doves around the edges. It's really beautiful. So the Sun is really one of our most important celestial objects, and when we talk astrologically, obviously we all know our sun signs generally more than we know our other signs, unless you do particular work with astrology or you've had your chart done or it's something that's really a topic for you. You may find that you're not particularly aware of the rest of your chart, and if you're not, then I really encourage you to seek out a natal chart. There's many free places online. I can send you links if you need. But the sun is, you know, without the sun we'd be nothing. The sun is our light, it's our power, it's our fuel. It's literally what makes us go round. So this is kind of our center, and this is really why we talk about solar plexus as being our sun center. This area is really the part of us that makes everything else go. Like, yes, we need our voice, we need our emotions, we need our compassion, and we need our stability and security, but without our sun, nothing really happens. So it's really a good time of the year and a good time astrologically to think about what your sun is. What's the stuff that really makes you go? What's really important to you, to your life, to your well-being, and are you honouring that? Can you do more? Can you change the emphasis and priorities in your life to give your sun the attention it needs so it keeps doing its job really well? And that's something I think we've all been encouraged to ask as we've moved through the last few months of change and uncertainty. There's been such a lot of confused priorities, and we've all had to change and adapt, and that's been really uncomfortable for some people. But it's really a good time at the end of this 6-month phase, as we've come back to the fire energy after months and months of everything else, of water and earth and a little bit of air. It's really nice to think about, what is your sun? Where is your center? And how do you find ways to really amplify that energy, to really work with it, to help you move forward towards the Leo full moon next spring. So strengthen the sun, and if you do like to do tarot readings around the moon, I'll be posting mine tomorrow, and it's always really nice to pull one or both of those cards and have them as your symbol or signifier card. So you take them out of the deck and sit and meditate with them. Always really nice to place a crystal on. I usually work with Carnelian for Leo, and maybe some fool's gold this time at the centre of your sun card. And you can place those crystals on when you've cleansed them and made your grid to amplify the energy and to amplify the reading and the intuitive reading that you can take from your cards. So we're going to move into the main sounds in just a moment. Today I'll be inviting you to really spend time with your intention around the solar plexus as we enter into the sound space together. Do make sure, if you haven't experienced sound before, that you're wearing headphones. It's really enormously beneficial to the binaural aspect of the sound. I do record and stream this in stereo, so it really helps you get the most from it if you get some headphones on or a good quality speaker. If you don't have any, don't let it put you off, but know that if you listen back, it might make a difference. Have some water to hand, some tea. If you like to work with essential oils, as I mentioned, the ones I'm working with right now are rose, ginger, lemon, grapefruit, and just a little bit of chili. If you're finding that you're feeling pretty fiery right now and you don't really need to amplify the Leo energy anymore, then definitely skip the chili and the ginger, and maybe have a look at something a bit softer and maybe amp up the rose. So taking a few moments in your space just to get settled down, to gather any last pieces you need. Make sure you're comfy. It's really important to be warm. Your body will drop a few degrees in meditation, so it's great to have a blanket to hand. You can move as much as you want. You can lie however you want. In group, we always begin lying on our back to keep the spine straight, to invite Kundalini to rise if that's in your practice. But no, you can move as much as you want. It's really most important that you're comfortable, that you're receiving the sound in a way that makes sense to you. So I'll give you a moment or two to get settled, and we'll meet again with the gongs shortly. So as we move into the sounds together this evening, let's reconnect with our intentions, with our mantras. If you've taken a few moments to consider what the Leo energy means to you, now's a really good time to come up with one or two words that really embody what you're looking to move forward with out of this moon. I know mine is empowerment and clarity. I feel like there's been a really kind of kooky, unclear phase in the last few months. Lots going on, lots of confusing energy, lots of kind of constant change, but in a very slow, sort of static way, which is really quite hard to understand, especially for us water signs who love transformative, fluidy stuff. And that's partly, I think, because the astrology of this moon is that we have Mars really taking control, taking a lot of energy. Mars is in some big alignments with some of the big planets, with Sun. And what that means is that Mars, as you probably know, is the warrior and has this kind of active solar plexus fire that we've been talking about all sessions so far. So the Mars energy being super strong and super fiery and super empowered does give us a bit of opportunity to really harness fire going forwards. Usually the astrological work is that we're working with a lot of nuance, a lot of kind of counterbalance between different elements, between different energies and vibrations. And that is always the case to some degree. The way our personal chart, and if you're interested in yours, let me know, balances our sun, moon and rising sign as a priority, and then we have so many other different alignments, conjunctions, and just kind of really interesting placements that can really change how our vibrations affect us day to day. And normally we see that in our lunar energy, but this actually is a very fiery vibration. We've just had the Lionsgate portal. Sirius is still kind of, which is our spiritual star, is still very present. We have this big Mars vibe, and also if you look up to the west, if you happen to have a really nice clear sky anytime this week, actually you should be able to see a really nice Saturn and Jupiter alignment. So Jupiter is our planet of expansion and optimism and positivity, kind of the giant of the solar system, and Saturn is kind of slightly angrier brother, is the planet of discipline and hard lessons and tough knocks. And they when they work in tandem, it's actually really great energy. It's really supportive to look at the stuff that's going wrong or feeling challenging or difficult or really tough, as the last few months have for many of us, and then to really see that in the context of really moving forward, the optimism and positivity of Jupiter. How do we grow that? So that alignment that's going on at the moment, alongside this kind of strong, empowered kind of Mars leadership and responsibility, all under the Leo Sun and Moon, means that everything is quite forward. There's not an awful lot in the cosmos at the moment that's going backwards energetically. We have got a lot of planets in retrograde still, but that to me feels like it's making room for the bigger forward motion we need to make individually and as a collective. So take a look back at your intentions, get yourself cozy, get your headphones on, get your blankets on, get yourself ready for your sound journey, and remember that sound is your journey, it's your experience. You may feel that you want to go somewhere with a louder body to get out of your head slightly if you're looking for that kind of semi-psychedelic or hallucinogenic experience. If you want to invite it in, most likely it's what you'll find is there for you, particularly if you're working with any sort of plant medicine, especially cacao for heart opening, any mugwort teas or anything in that kind of world. You get what you invite. For many of us, sound is really all about the relaxation, the meditation, the opportunity to find that higher consciousness state without the kind of stress and real conscious anxiety of trying to be still. So if that's you, please do get yourself comfy, and also don't beat yourself up if you do move or don't find you get there. It's really not a competition even with yourself. So as we begin to move into our sounds this evening, take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the lips. Gradually, just scan your body for any areas of tightness or difficulty, anything that feels like it's lurking around for you, anything you're quite keen to release, to move on from, to understand where that energy is coming from. Anything that feels a little unbalanced or disharmonious. Remembering that our meditation is always about harmony. As you notice anything that arises for you, you can simply offer it the opportunity to depart, to leave you in peace for the duration of this session, and for as long after as feels okay. energies we've been tapping into this evening. You feel comfortable with where you are, with where you're going, and with how you're getting there. And as you float in the water and feel the sun, the fire, you begin to become aware once again of your breath. The air as it brushes your lips and your nostrils. As you breathe in and out, you feel into your heart space for harmony, for compassion, for empathy, for love. And you notice that you have an abundance of all of these qualities and aspects. And now as you become aware of the water, the fire and the air, you begin to swim or float or scull towards shore, towards the beach or the riverbank. And gradually you upright yourself in the water and your toes sink into the wet sand at the seabed or the riverbed. And you feel the pebbles and the shells and the seaweed and the plants. And you feel your roots strong and stable, secure. Your family and your home life and all of those aspects that build your home, your shell, make sense to you. And you know your place within them. And now as you walk towards the shore, the water is lower at your chest and your waist. And now in your thighs and your knees, and now you're walking out of the water, out onto the shore. Your feet sinking into the earth, connecting with Mother Earth, with Gaia. And as you arrive on the beach or the shore, feeling at one with all four elements, with water, with fire, with air and with earth, you become aware that you are the fifth, spirit, ether, holding all the other elements together, the one that makes the whole. And in this moment you know that you're not your body and you're not your mind, you're something so much greater than that, your consciousness. It's connected to the cosmos, to the collective, to all things. And all things are sound, the world is sound. And sometimes the most powerful sound is silence. softly, feeling for your fingers and your toes, allowing some small movements into the extremities of the body once again. Maybe rotating the wrists and the ankles, allowing the head to drop softly side to side, reawakening the spine. And just taking a few deeper breaths deep into the lungs, feeling the belly fill and lift, feeling your chest fill and lift. Connecting back with the physical body, aware that for some it may have been quite distant from your conscious mind for quite some time. And taking a moment just to allow your conscious mind to come back in, to observe where you are, to observe how you feel. Now's the perfect time to bank a couple of words, a couple of emotions, a couple of memories, images, visions, things that you're going to write down and meditate on for the next few days. Take some bigger movements now, maybe picking up the hands, rub them together a little. If you're using oils, this is a really good time to grab your oil to get some sense back into the body, to turn the senses back on fully. Rub the hands together till you get some heat between the palms. Take them over the eyes and then blink your eyes open into the darkness. Gradually welcoming your senses back into the space. So there's quite a fiery energy I felt coming up during these sounds, and I think as we've talked about throughout this session, there is such a lot of fire in the cosmos right now, so it's a really good time to have a look and see what's going on for you in your solar plexus. If you're feeling heat anywhere in your body, where is that? Can you identify why that is? Do you connect with it in some way? And really observe. The invitation with all sound is to observe and to witness your own evolution. Sound does take about 3 to 4 days to work through the body, so take it gently, take it easily. I know lots of you know this, but take it nice and easy. Journal lots, observe lots, learn lots about yourself. As we work through the new moon, no matter what the element, cleansing is the order of the day. So you may want to take your intentions or your journal outside after this session, or maybe tomorrow after the new moon itself, and see if you want to start a little bonfire of any sort. It's also the perfect time to get in the water if you're fortunate, as we are here in Cornwall, to be near water. If that water meditation at the end resonated for you particularly, then do go find some water, whether it's the ocean, a lake, a pool. Anything will do. The bath will do. Get yourself a ritual bath, maybe use your oils. Rose and ginger is really beautiful at this time, and you can mix some coconut milk in to give it some extra vavavoom. So I hope you've enjoyed your sound session this evening. This has been my first attempt at recording anything in here, and in fact recording anything rather than streaming in real time. So let me know how it was for you. I am, internet permitting, planning to be with you at this point, so if you have questions, feel free to jump into the chat or into the comments. If I can't get to them right away, I certainly will get to them within a few minutes of this ending. And obviously if you have any private questions or anything you'd like to share, anything about your experience, please don't hesitate to be in touch. So there is a live session tomorrow night, the 19th of August, for anyone who is in Cornwall and would like to join us. I think there's just one spot left. You can find out about that on my social and my website. The next online session will be for the full moon, which is the full moon in Pisces. We're going to have that on September the 1st, and the moon will be full early hours of the 2nd. There will be a live in-person session as well on the 2nd, so you can choose if you're local. Going forward, we hope to continue online sessions in a more live format once we get out of the summer holidays. As many of you will be aware, especially those in Cornwall, the internet here can be really heavily affected by the volume of tourists, and unfortunately I'm in the situation that my home internet no longer supports live streaming while we're so busy. So hopefully by September we'll get back to something super live again, but in the meantime I really hope you've enjoyed your Leo new moon session. I encourage you to go and embrace the lion heart, embrace your pride, both metaphysically and physically. Embrace your people, your family, your roots, your friends, your partner, and definitely embrace yourself. This is a time to really stand in the sun and be proud of who you are, where you've got to, and we've definitely all earned our stripes the last few months. So give yourself some major props for getting through to mid-August, to the Leo new moon, and do have a beautiful one. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you very soon.